Everybody. How's it going, Dominic? Happy Halloween, everybody. How's it going, my friend? Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. So, last time we were talking, we kind of failed because of tech issues, but we were talking about the Satanic Panic. Do you see that coming back in the foreseeable future, or where do you think the forces behind it are, and do you think there's a similar push for it?
There's still a, I don't think we're going to see the exact same thing, but it's definitely nationalism.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the freaking yeah.
Similar.
Good.
I was just saying it's definitely a similar vibe. It's kind of the same deal, but different hats.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's like online like lynch mobs and crusades on like YouTube and social media. It's crazy. I mean, what was the goth '90s like? If you don't mind me asking. I mean, I barely have been getting into goth in the last 5 years. So, what was it like being goth and queer back then? And where was there a certain sense of like accomplishment for it back then compared to where it is now, since it's become so monetized and so commercial?
It definitely felt more artistic. I'd say that it's not still there. It's one of those. Back in the day, if you ran into somebody wearing like elaborate goth outfit, you knew that they had made it. And now they could have just bought it off a rack and put it on,
You-
um, which doesn't delegitimize the person who bought it off. Not everyone can make all their clothes all the time.
I feel there's also a large overlap with like the gaming community, Gen Con, like the tabletop role playing and LARPing cultures of the time as well. I mean, did you have any experience with that as growing up?
Oh, definitely. I don't even know which one I got into first. It was kind of all filled together that way. The goth kids were gaming, and still the gamers were goth kids.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nowadays it's just a bunch of edgelords on Discord playing Elder Scrolls Online or Baldur's Gate 3 and some of the most disgusting things possible, including Rick from Rick and Morty. Trying to see who the biggest egotist is. Yes, that is my general experiences online. Okay, that's the people I hang out with. Bunch of edgy ass Gen Z fuckers. I
We-
mean, what was the goth youth culture like back then without social media? Like, how'd you guys organize? How'd you guys like exist without the existence of the internet? Still there?
Still there?
Yeah, yeah. So, how did goth culture exist without the internet back then?
Just we just used phones.
Ah, okay.
Just
Were there like any mass gatherings? Like, what was it? The mass gathering place back then was it like Ren fairs, Gen Cons. I mean, what was the culture like? How was it focused, and how did people like How did people form back then? I guess I want to say communities. How are they different now?
yeah, it wasn't focused. I think that's the thing is we'd all have. It's all the goth kids weren't just the goth kids. We were all into all sorts of things, and we had overlapping and similar interests, but there wasn't like a goth hangout spot. Really, there was a particular nightclub in town that everyone went to, but other than that, it was just kind of you'd find each other at these different places and you'd hang out.
Yeah, the old school Infernal versus the modern day Crucible. I heard there's a huge difference between the two.
I, it's so hard for me to answer that. The Inferno was one of the first bars I went to when I was old enough to drink. Um, it's really hard to disassociate myself from that.
Yeah.
And like there's some core memories there. It's I do think that they're different, but a lot of that is probably my nostalgia.
That's like I
Oh, you broke up right there. What was that?
it's
Still
gathering
there?
there. There's a lot of like I mean, every time I go there, I see a lot of occult. I see a lot of like sex positive, like kinks lifestyle, and I enjoyed that. I respect that. I mean, it's human. It's like walking into a chaos slash bar in Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, no, that's always been like that. I mean, like the goth movement is an offshoot of the punk, which is because the anarchistic, very like open, live what you want, do what you want sort of philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Aleister Crowley, but you did say something that there's a difference between do as thou will, frills hold the law. You gave like your little caveat to it. What was that again?
Oh yeah, there's,
Yeah, what was your take on Aleister Crowley with the philosophy of do as thou will, frills hold the law? I'm just curious.
my take is do as
Yeah, can you hear me?
can you hear you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go.
I just always found Crowley to be like he was saying some really smart shit, but like my thing with him is I think he took advantage of that and created a culture that took the extreme individualism and create a culture of extreme narcissism with it, if that makes sense.
Just a very fine line between those two things. One person's individualism taken to the point that you are disregarding other people's individualism is narcissism.
Yeah, no, I mean that's why America's so fucked up. We have such an individualistic culture without like any respect for anyone anymore. The
Right.
old, the older,
What I
yeah,
would like to see is
yeah, go ahead.
what I would like to see is individualistic people within a community culture.
Yeah, I'd like that too. I'd like that too. I mean, for instance, I go to a very LGBT affirming Lutheran church downtown, and everyone is
Mhm.
completely different. The priest is gay, has a son, and it's a very like laxed. We have a common like mythology. We all come around and we respect each other, and that's just my spirituality. You can apply that to Buddhism, paganism, and this is why I think what culture needs. I think we correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think that society needs like common mythologies to unite it? What's your take on that one? I want your anarchistic take on that.
I don't think we need common mythologies. I think we need common goals.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, if we're running around all agreeing on the same history, but we disagree on what to do with it now, we're going to get we get the Catholics versus the Protestants, right? In Ireland, like
sure, yeah.
yeah, they had a common mythology and they killed
Killed
each
each
other and
other for
still hate each other.
centuries. Yeah, yeah. So, are you familiar with the book series known as 1654?
No, I don't think so.
It's a book series about a race of aliens, millions of years in the future, who create mess around with space time, and they do it for artistic expression. Their form of art is bending the laws of times and physics and time and space. And Earth is one of their favorite canvases, and because of this, they often will take they took the entire state of Georgia and transport it back to the 30-Year War. So Georgia created a redneck
Um,
alternate history called the United States of Europe, and they wound up taking the completely rebuilding history in that image. Rednecks and trucks going after Irish soldiers. It was fun.
Who's the Irish in that scenario? I thought Georgia would be the Irish.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like they completely displaced the entire. So the whole point of this book series, it was written to explain like fun is fun and whimsical, messing with history and like endless what ifs. But they often try and make a point aside from the sci-fi shit, what our culture looks like, it's like scientific anthropology, science fiction anthropology. It's like they like messing with cultural norms and messing with orthodoxies that we've held true for like entire centuries. And like, what if the slightest twitch of a this could completely change how civilization runs? Like, I've always ran with that. What's your take on that?
Sounds like a flat out Star Trek, like the old school Star Trek, where they'd have
Yeah.
the Nazi planet or the Roman planet or the planet that's just like Earth, except the British didn't lose the Revolutionary War or something like that.
Yeah, old school Star Trek was whimsical as fucking hell. I loved it. Oh god. I hated Next Generation. I hated Next Generation.
I loved Next Generation. I grew up with Next Generation. I was watching
For
them.
me, it was Enterprise. For
So
me, it was Enterprise.
I hated Enterprise, especially the ending.
Eh,
Um,
I liked Enterprise.
Spoilers.
I like the song. Okay, I
Yeah.
like the song.
See, I didn't like the song either because it wasn't Star Trek to me. Like all the Star Trek songs have been these big bravado classical musicals, and this was this like weird country twangy thing.
Yeah, I remember. I grew up in Sauk. I grew up in the boonies. The thing I loved about Star Trek was the weird timey wimey space shit they got into. Same thing you wrote the OG Doctor Who. I mean, the OG Doctor Who back in the day was just gold. What was your favorite show from that era?
From like 90s sci-fi.
80s, 90s sci-fi. Yeah.
I think it was probably Next Generation, to be honest. Like, although I was a big fan of Sliders when I was growing up too. I think looking
Well,
back on it, I don't think I like it very much now, but at the time I really did.
for me, it was Babylon 5. Okay, for me, it was Babylon 5. That was my OG
I never
childhood.
got into that one. I don't know if I've ever seen a full episode.
So the whole point of Babylon 5 is there's these two impossibly ancient alien races that shape entire civilizations over the course of thousands of years, and they represent two extremes: order in excess and anarchy in excess. And the two races often offer their magical space whimsical powers to the current civilizations of the galaxy. What do you want? Who do you serve? Who are you? They ask these riddle questions, and the whole point of the show is to represent what do you want? Communism or anarchism? How do you feel about that? You're an anarchist.
I think
How do you feel about that? I want your honest take on that one. I'm curious.
to me, anarchism's considered philosophy that it is a political structure. Um, but then, like also communism, socialism, and a full true democracy are all forms of. They're pretty close to anarchism because you're getting everybody's needs taking into a consideration. You're getting everyone's opinion, and you're working together towards common goals. Like anarchism, at the end of the day, isn't about just doing whatever you want. It's about the most freedom for the most people.
Respect that. The older I get, I'm actually starting to realize that. I'm starting to respect that. God, I'm. This is proof we aren't getting my. There's this narrative I grew up as a kid that the older generations get, the more conservative they get. I think that's a complete bullet of bullshit nowadays.
It was true for the boomers. And it was true for the boomers because they were heavily incentivized for that. I mean,
Yeah, Cold War
were
logic.
offered all
Yeah.
these credits and things like that, enabling them to control the markets and take advantage of the stock market and things like that. Like for them, it was true because as they grew older, they had more incentives more conservative.
Yeah,
Those
the
incentives are,
Reagan years. Yeah, God.
yeah, exactly. And those incentives are gone now. You know, the conservatives have conservatived it so hard that there's there's no room for your average person. You have to be a millionaire in order to have the sort of financial incentives.
You gotta remember, I grew up believing the free market. I mean, 10 years ago, I was a libertarian. Still kind of am, but I mean, I was generally, culturally, say I'm more libertarian. Like, I like hunting, I like enjoying life, I don't care for, like, all the culturally, I still have a lot of libertarian traits. But what I'm trying to say is, I was a hardcore believer in, like, the crowdfunding, Patreon, Kickstarter. I thought this was gonna be the golden age of American online entrepreneurship for artists and creators. And 10 years later, I was dead ass wrong because as soon as Trump gets office, those dreams pretty much die within a heartbeat. I grew up believing in that myth. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now I'm 30. I'm realizing it was always shit. What's your take?
I mean, it is one of those things. If it, if things worked like that, I could see where they're coming from. Especially the libertarians. They're pretty much like, socially do whatever you will, and then fiscally be more conservative and trickle down and all that.
Yeah,
And I can get behind the idea of state a bunch of money that you earned uh, in order to take care of random people. Like, I understand it. I disagree with it. I understand where it's coming from.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and it's the thing is that if it actually worked out the way they said it would, I wouldn't be opposed to it. The a lot of libertarians are there like, oh, you don't need to give the state taxes because people will just naturally take care of themselves.
yeah.
The trickle down theory. If one guy is making a shit ton of money, he'll pass it on to his employees. Great if that works, but it doesn't. The guy
No,
keeps it.
it
He doesn't
doesn't. It
pass it on.
doesn't.
He just keeps it.
And conservatives are always the ones who are always like saying, "Oh, humans are too corrupt for communism to work." I mean, but you're doing all this corrupt, evil
I
shit
think
yourself on the other side of the pendulum.
I think when people say that humans are too corrupt to do altruistic things, that says more about the person saying it than it does about humanity as a whole.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know what games have really woken me up to the matrix we live in? Have really woken my eyes up in the last couple of years. Gnosticism, studying the Gnostic like theology and like mythology, and getting into World of Darkness and Cyberpunk. You want to go into how those games really destroyed the modern day world? You're the elder goth here. Go ahead.
Those games are allegories. They're, it's like a science fiction novel. Right? It's take-
I mean, Cyberpunk and World of Darkness they just destroyed everything I believed in for a long time. Go ahead, share with what you want to say about it.
So yeah, these like they're they're meant to be a message about our current lives. World of Darkness isn't about vampires and werewolves. It's about hidden underclass fighting against the overclass, or the way things are run currently.
Yeah, the Anarchs versus the Camarilla, especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
and you can say the same thing about Cyberpunk. Like it's this futuristic sci-fi setting, but it's all about how corporations are trying to take advantage of you and leech your worlds, and you have to fight back against them. And that's a thing that's great.
I mean, the thing I love most about those games isn't even the lore itself; it's the artwork from those RPG books in the '90s and early '80s. I fucking love that shit. Like the old RPG books art styles, I just fucking fell in love with them. You have anything you want to say about that art style? I mean, you're more from that generation than I am. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, can you repeat that? No, I fell in love with the art style from Warhammer games, D&D, Cyberpunk, World of Darkness. I love the edge lord of it. I love the weird, just fucking craziness of it. I mean, do you want to elaborate on that art style and why you think might be superior to modern day art styles for games like that?
Well, gaming art styles tend to be really, really chaotic. There's a lot going on. Get you in. Like, they want to present something that's exciting, and they need to make it look as far away from some people sitting around a table as possible.
Right. I mean, I look at the old art style for Cyberpunk. I fell in love with it. I just thought it was so completely foreign to anything I see nowadays. I think modern day gaming art styles are just so corporate and too clean for my taste.
Lowest common denominator.
Yeah, I mean, I love the art style and the old lore for World of Darkness and Cyberpunk. I mean, Cyberpunk is so fucked up. I mean, entire bloodlines are owned by corporate overlords. It's fucked.
Well, and that's that is part of our past, and it is part of our future. Have you ever heard of company towns?
Familiar. I've heard of them. Like I've heard of those. Like especially in Alaska.
Yeah, so like kind of all over the new West back when the West was new. Um, there's these companies would come in ahead of the government, and they'd set up a company town. There would be some resource nearby, usually a mine of some sort, and
Yeah,
everyone who lived in the town worked for the company, and the
yeah.
company provided all of the shelter, all of the stores, all of the entertainment, everything. And the company towns, all the shops in the company towns would take company coin. The company would give out to the employees instead of paying them actual money,
It's like a
which
capitalist
means that
version of
the
the economy.
employees
Damn.
kind of, but you can't take that company coin and move to New York City
That kind
or
of
take
reminds me of
company coin
Wayland
there.
Utani from Alien.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and the whole purpose
Um,
of Alien was to make people aware of the dangers of corporations controlling our advancement as a species, scientifically and space exploration wise.
and that's the premise of Alien is a company essentially. It's just a company town out in.
Yeah, I mean, look at how greedy. Have you seen Prometheus, by the way? The newer Alien movies.
I haven't seen all of them. I saw the first one.
Yeah, no, there's like the dark aesthetic they're trying to go for is cosmic horror. Of course, the xenomorphs represent what lies beyond the stars, and it kind of is like the complete reverse of Star Trek. That's why I love it. I like dark themes in my sci-fi. I'm not a big fan of the clean brush like Star Trek. I do like me some dark sci-fi because I like it being gritty and relatable.
Star Trek has.
I mean, I like the nobility of like Picard and Kirk. I do, but I like me disturbed characters who have a troubled past. What's your take on that one?
I think that even
Yeah, like even Picard
heavily
had a
traumatized.
yeah, Picard was traumatized, and his story is pretty fucking sad. If you're familiar with from Next Generation to Picard, if you're familiar with his story arc.
I don't. I haven't watched Picard yet. I really want to. Picard is one of my favorite captains. Series.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart for the win. Fantastic actor. Fantastic actor. I love Patrick
Absolutely,
Stewart.
absolutely, well deserving of the night.
Yeah, my thing with Star Trek, it always felt so clean and optimistic as a sci-fi setting.
Yeah, and it was supposed to. And like when they started making Next Generation, Gene Roddenberry was still alive, and he literally told them, "This is supposed to be a utopia. There is no war. There is no like conflict. We like nobody's hungry. All of the problems have been solved."
Science and
And the
S.
writers,
Yeah.
yeah, and the writers found that really hard to work with.
Yeah. I mean, I like Deep Space Nine for some of the shit that happened. I love the Dominion, okay? I love the Dominion. And the Borg represent to me a very chilling aspect of we allow technology to take control of us.
Mhm. I think the Borg at the time were this kind of like fear of technology, but the more the more we progress as a society, the more the Borg have gotten to be symbolized to me. It's something like social media.
Yeah, yeah, no, social media is a tool, and we're all slaves to influencers and the algorithms. I mean, look at how many
And
people are. Yeah, go ahead.
what happens when we let technology control us instead of the other way around?
Yeah, no, that's why I'm very hesitant around AI. I'm not anti-technology. I'm what's the word I'm looking for? I'm cautious about technology and the way it's going.
So sometimes call somebody who is anti. You should look into what the Luddites actually stood for. They weren't anti-technology. They were anti-machines taking people's jobs.
Oh yeah, I mean, look who's in charge of the AI technology right now. Tech bros like Elon Musk and the like.
Well, speaking of company towns, Elon's building one in
Jesus
Texas.
Christ.
He built himself a little town. Everything is controlled by SpaceX, and he's just a couple steps away from minting his own coin. Really, like you can see that. If that was legal, he'd probably do it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, Elon is just. I fucking hate him. He disowned his own child for being trans, and I was
Yeah, well,
absolutely
he's
just.
got like 50 more, so it's okay.
You want what is that?
He's making a joke. I say 15 more, so it's okay. You can afford to lose one.
Ah, Elon Musk is just—he's an absolute piece of shit, and these new tech bros and podcast bros, once again, I just feel are hype capitalism taking us to its most darkest reality. I think we're heading towards that reality every day.
We are.
Unfortunately, I mean the world is we're getting closer, further and further from the world of Star Trek and more towards the world of Cyberpunk every day of our lives. But there is something that gives me hope from the Cyberpunk rulebook itself. The whole point of the setting, even as fucked up as the world is in this alternate history, there's still hope. People are using bioengineering to restore ecosystems. People are reclaiming ancient cultural traditions, reawakening spirituality and the care for their common man. And that's like a theme in Cyberpunk throughout the old school rule books. What would you want to add to that?
I think that's the theme of the whole genre. I think it's also very realistic. We can't. You brought up, we can't just back in the Bible. Like it's here and it's not going anywhere. We can figure out to use it in good ways, in ways that are not harmful and create good things.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of my favorite things about Cyberpunk is like if you really read the lore, which I have, I'm a lore whore. I should get that tattoo into a merch for my channel. I should just make that as like t-shirts, lore whore. I should do that. Um, that was from a friend of mine. So the thing with I want to add to this is I think like in Cyberpunk, America was saved, and this isn't me evangelizing for this religion or what, but religion and spirituality is more alive in Cyberpunk because these religions, churches, synagogues, and mosques, in the wake of global warming, did grassroots and they cared about their community and funded all their money into fucking agriculture, sustainable housing. And that's why in the older books, religion is a very popular thing in Cyberpunk because it actually adapted and changed and met the needs of the people in these societies, in this world. And I like that as a progressive Christian. And I like that message as an anthropology nerd, and I really resonate with that. How do you feel about that? I know you're a hardcore atheist, but I'm just curious.
Oh, that's very much what religion used to be. Like, churches are tax exempt. The reason for that, supposedly, is because churches will give back to the community. They're expected to give back to the community as part of what they are, and so there's no need to tax them because taxes are taking money from people in order to give back to the community. The churches are doing that already. They're spending that money already, except more and more today they're not.
Yeah. I mean, I think Supreme Court just overruled the decision that churches can't like endorse political candidates, which I really fucking hate. I think that's a
Yeah,
yeah. You want to say anything to that?
I that rings so dystopian to me. Um,
Yeah,
because
no,
it's when you're in that space, you're so vulnerable. You
yeah,
know,
no. I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, these are communities where people are just trying to believe and like raise their kids in or give their families or themselves some hope, and they're now having a pastor or a priest that could say, "This is who we're supporting." And I just, as someone who's been in that situation, that atmosphere, it's so terrifying, you know?
but the same, you know, you're supporting. If you don't, you're going to go to hell, risk
Yeah,
your
no,
eternal soul.
yeah, no, it's dangerous. And I'm like, I got in an argument with my best friend, my roommate. He isn't so hardcore against it. He's more conservative than I am, far more. But I'm like, I know what this is like. I know what this leads to, you know? And why can't we have the American spirituality of cyberpunk, where synagogues and rabbis and Buddhist monks and Christian clergy are trying to create a more inclusive, welcoming society and truly like welcoming the impoverished, those who are dying, people who are freaks. I love that message as someone who's a person of faith in cyberpunk. I can relate to that so much. And that's my own personal vision of what I'd like the world to look like if we keep heading down this
Yeah.
direction.
And, you know,
So,
like I'm an atheist, but I'm not against religion as a concept. I'm against what religion has often become.
oh yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, that's just, but as an artistic thing, I appreciate the message they're trying to give in those rule books. You know, I really appreciate the message they're trying to give. Um, Something else I'm really against, I love about World of Darkness, is the idea of the vampires running everything. The vampires of the Illuminati, the vampires of the 10 percenters. I love that so much. What's your take?
I love it.
Were you an Anarch or a Camarilla player as a vampire?
I We didn't play super close to those rules. I usually played Toreador.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, something I really
Just because I
go ahead.
um, oh yeah, just because I was a very kind of flamboyant time.
I mean, I here's my thing of vampire. I played a World of Darkness campaign. I tell you about this before, but I can go into detail. I wound up saving the entire party in a vampire World of Darkness VR game created by the vampires to distract the mortals from their existence. I befriended the best PvPer in the game, became her bottom bitch. I wound up saving the entire party by calling her. She saved us from a demon raid. So I saved the entire party by being a power bottom in an MMO. And I fucking love that.
Truly can do or be anything.
Oh god. And then closing the next 5 minutes, I want to say, I really do enjoy vampires like ability. The game masters are encouraged to know the city they live in. That is something I always loved about World of Darkness. You're encouraged to know locations, cities, and history in real life.
think that
How do you feel about that? I think it takes more creativity than being a dungeon master for D&D. That's my hot take.
oh yeah, well, it's a different sort of creativity. It's kind of like yeah, there's this one chef show competition show I watched where this one guy decided that he was just everything he was going to make was going to be a sandwich,
Yeah.
and he won the show like that. And it's I think that's because creativity can flourish under restrictions sometimes.
It kind of brings back a childhood sense of whimsy at the world. And when you're walking down a dark street, I live in Sauk. It's full of old Victorian homes. You look in there. What could be in there? What kind of weird poltergeist could be wandering around in that house? What kind of werewolves could be wandering around the woods at night while I'm hunting, coming back from playing with my friends? It kind of reminds me of that kind of mindset and turns into a game engine. That's why I really appreciate World of Darkness. You have anything you want to say to that?
I I think it's great. Yeah, it's so miraculous to be able to walk around the world with that sense of whimsy and discovery.
I think we're reaching the end here. Dominic, thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you. I always love coming on.
Cool. Till next time, folks. Stay weird, stay goth, and be a freak. Especially this time, in this time and place we live in.